Hey guys, I hope that everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday. I certainly am. I wanted to pop on and talk with you a little bit about the current energies and some of the things that are going on right now that I've noticed. A couple of things are happening astrologically too. Tomorrow we have Saturn moving into Aquarius and out of Capricorn. Woot woot, out of Capricorn finally, but into Aquarius, and that's kind of a big deal. It has not been in Aquarius for about, I think, 23 years, so let's say 20 plus years. And then Monday we have a huge astrological event, which is called the Great or the Grand Conjunction, which is when Saturn and Jupiter meet, which has not happened for 400 years. So we've got this going on, and in addition to that, we have sort of a couple of themes happening amongst the collective too. One of the things that I'm seeing is I'm noticing that the veil between the fourth dimension and the third and fifth dimension is very, very thin right now. The fourth dimension is where our loved ones kind of reside. It's where spirit resides. Anybody that's passed over is in the fourth dimension, and the veil between the fifth, the fourth, and the third is very, very thin. And so lots of folks are experiencing, including myself, we're experiencing things like, gosh, the other night I heard a woman humming in my kitchen, and I wasn't the only person that heard that. People are reporting being touched by spirit right now, being touched by their loved ones. People are reporting animals that they're hearing and seeing. I've also gotten a couple of folks that have reported that their children are having really strong interactions with those on the other side. So we have astrology going on, and then on top of that we've got the really thin veil between the fourth dimension, which is where spirit lives. That's going on. And then another thing that's happening right now that is rather impactful for everybody across the board is that the collective, all of us, we're all going through a collective dark night of the soul. It's true. It's happened. I personally started feeling it happening probably about 10 weeks ago. I just didn't realize personally what was going on. I didn't realize that we are going through, self included, another dark night of the soul. And if you guys don't know what a dark night of the soul is, I read a quote recently from a man named Joshua Press who said the dark night of the soul is a stage in personal development when a person undergoes a difficult and significant transition to a deeper perception of life and their place in it. And the collective is going through a dark night of the soul. The collective is going through an identity change. And that's kind of what the dark night of the soul is it triggers an identity change. The dark night of the soul is a breakdown of foundational items. So I'm sure you're experiencing it. The collective is experiencing it. And as a collective, we're experiencing a breakdown in our stability and security right now. Things that we once knew, things that we once relied on, we no longer rely on. Again, a dark night of the soul for the collective is breaking down and transitioning us to a deeper perception of life and ourselves in it. It's also an elimination of identity. And so as a collective, we're going through that. Individually, we're going through that right now. I'm going through it. We are all going through a change of identity, whether we're taking something new on or we're shedding old things. So again, collective dark night of the soul. It can also be a removal of beliefs and values. That's what the dark night of the soul can also trigger for you, is a removal of beliefs and values. And again, we collectively are going through that right now. I thought I would share with you a couple of tips for how to make it through right now. And to be honest, guys, I have no time frame for this. Spirit keeps telling me that, they've been telling me for a minute too, that we are not going to see movement. We're not going to see transition until April. That means we are all in this collective dark night of the soul for a couple more months. And so I'm going to give you a couple of tips to help you get through it. I mean, above anything else, rely deeply on your spiritual practices, because that's what it's about. You guys know what to do. If you don't know what to do, ask me, put a post up. Rely heavily on your spiritual practices. Adopt a perspective of learning. And so when we step back, whether you're having something that's impacting you individually, or if you're just sort of seeing this as a collective in the whole, because of course, again, we're all going through some stuff right now. If you can adopt a perspective of learning and ask, what is this teaching you if you're having something going on, or ask, what do you think this is teaching the collective? That's going to help ease some of this dark night of the soul that we're going through until, again, I think April. Another thing that you can do is to find the lessons. What are you learning? Stephanie is saying she's also received April as a message for the end of this dark night of the soul. What are you learning? Find the lessons. What can you learn from this? Another thing that you can do is to remain hopeful for the future. And so, as I said, Spirit has told me that we're going to be in this together until April. Stephanie is here online commenting too that Spirit has told her the same thing. Remain hopeful for the future. This is not a permanent situation. We are all in this together. We do have a light at the end of the tunnel. There is going to be some transition in April, so have hope for the future. Another thing that can help you to move through, again, this collective dark night of the soul that we're having, is to surrender. Yesterday, I was sitting in channel, and I got a message from Spirit. They were quite funny with me yesterday. Everything they told me rhymed. I mean, that's my life, right? So they said to me, what you resist persists. And that's exactly what's going to happen for us over the next 4 months individually and on a collective level. What we resist will persist. And so look at your resistance, surrender where you can surrender, let go, be soft and gentle with yourself, be soft and gentle with your family and friends. Okay, I love that, Stephanie. Choose to believe, choose to have faith. Yeah, so earlier this year, we did have a really, really great conversation in the group around choosing faith over fear. And that's the same thing. Surrender, have faith, have hope. We're in it together, okay? Another thing that you can do to move through the next 5 months or so while we're all struggling is to make sure that you have a support system in place, have some good friends. If you are in the woo-woo lifestyle, make sure that you have some good spiritual friends that you can lean on to talk about the dark night of the soul. And even if your friends aren't woo-woo, still use them and check on your friends, y'all. We are all having a collective dark night of the soul. Check on your friends and allow yourself to be checked on. And if you need help, please, please, please ask, okay? Another thing that you can do to move through this is, again, to know that this is temporary. We do have a light at the end of the tunnel. This is not forever. No dark night of the soul is forever, okay? But we do know that we've got about 4 months until we're going to start to see some movement here. So know that this collective dark night of the soul is temporary. And the last thing that you can do is to proactively work your individual shadows. So if you've got some shadow work to do, the next 4.5 months is definitely your opportunity to really burn off any of those last shadows. If you can be proactive about it and think about, gosh, where do I have resistance in my life? Where am I having repetitive obstacles? What's the themes for me? Those are going to be your shadows. Proactively work them. What do I need to release? What work do I need to do for myself around stability, that kind of thing. So those are a couple of tips to help you guys get through. For those of you that just joined us, we were talking today about the current energy. I was sharing that right now the veil between the different dimensions is extremely thin. Clients are reporting being touched. I'm hearing things. I'm being touched. It's just the veil is very, very thin right now. There are a lot of souls on the other side who are intimately watching what we're doing, intimately involved in what we're doing. And so there's a lot of them here with us right now, of course, right? And then and of course, let me just comment on this too. There's been such a discussion around us going to the 5D. And so for those of us who are changing our frequency right now into the higher frequencies, of course, we're going to be able to feel the lower frequencies of the 3D and the 4D. We live in the 3D, right? We feel it all the time. Of course, we're going to feel the 4D too. So just know that there is a lot of interactions from our loved ones happening. And the other thing, for those of you that just joined, we were talking about the collective dark night of the soul that's happening for all of us. So I'm going to scroll up and look for a couple of questions. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Stephanie says she's felt a lot of change in the air. Thanks for watching, Stephanie. Like everything is lighter, not so dense. So you guys, I have to be honest with you, I'm feeling the other way. I was feeling really light. I was feeling really good. A lot of energy this summer. And just before my grandmother died, it just kind of all came to a halt. It was very strange for me. Not a halt, I shouldn't say that. It's a change, that's for sure. It's a denser for me. And so Stephanie says, absolutely, dark night of the soul is deepening our experience of life and ourselves. It can be intense. It is intense for some of you. Some of you guys, even though this is a collective and everybody's going through it, some of you are going to experience this more intensely than others, that's for sure. Stephanie also says that she received, again, April as a time when this dark night of the soul is going to end. And that's what I got from my folks too. And lastly, choose to believe, choose to have faith. Absolutely. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Come back to this if you're struggling. Come back to these tips if you're struggling. I'll probably pin it at the top. Don't forget, tonight I'm going to do some free readings over on my page. So come on over. Would love to have you there. And hang in there, guys. Hi, Galen. If you need anything, there's a prayer thread on the group. Reach out. We're all here for each other. Again, we are collectively going through this struggle. And I'll send you guys a lot of love, and I'll see you soon.